to the podcast So Casted with Tara, aka T Love 13. I am your host, T Love 13. Welcome to the very, very first podcast episode on So Casted. I am super excited to share my life experience and story with you. I'm even more excited to have guests that will come on and answer a few questions that I have designed for them. And today's topic, we will talk about 32 years of fear, the kryptonite to courage. Kryptonite is defined as something that can seriously weaken or harm a particular person or thing. 32 years of fear, the kryptonite to courage, was what I experienced in that time frame. And the reason why I'm bringing this podcast to you, it is geared toward mental healing. That is the focus. I am the example. I am super excited to share things with you to encourage you and motivate you that if I can do it, you can do it. And I believe that this is all designed and organized specifically for you. So you're welcome. Let's get into it. 32 years of fear, the kryptonite to courage. I was born in the year of 1966. I am the youngest of my mother's children. I am 13. I am the youngest of 13. I began to open up about my life at the age of 40. I was 40 years old when I thought that I had people who had my best interests at heart, and that wasn't the case. And that's okay, because what came out of that experience was the ability to address some things that I didn't realize was taking place in my life. You know, it's that moment when you think that you've put things on the back burner and you'll get to it later type attitude, and you're just going to keep pressing and moving forward and not let that deter you or bother you or, you know, keep you from going forward. Yeah. Well, the only problem with that is it goes with you. It's just not addressed. Yes, it stays with you. My purpose of bringing you this title is simply because I don't want it to take 32 years for someone who is under 32 years, or even if it takes, you know, if you're over 32 and you hear the sound of my voice and that's what it takes at this very particular time in life. That's okay too. The point is that we get it and that we understand what's needed in our lives. Since the year of 1973, I possessed a very strong feeling and hope for change. I wanted others around me to know that you can change. It's possible. However, for myself, I believed it for others, but I couldn't believe it for myself, and I held on tightly to fear. I got to a point in my life where I began to unravel. And it's that moment where you think you've dealt with things and that you can move on and not be bothered by life because you're successful in the things that you do and you're not this person or that person, or everything you've gone through, people don't understand you. No one gets you. It's that whole mindset. However, I held on extremely tightly to fear. And I had everything I thought I needed, except for courage. Remember, kryptonite weakens you. That's 32 years of fear, the kryptonite to courage. I didn't have courage. For some reason, I had hope for others, but I couldn't carry enough of that for myself. I gave and gave and gave and gave, and there was no courage for myself. And for 32 years, you can imagine, it held me back. I made many mistakes. One of those mistakes I feel was my biggest mistake, and that mistake was not loving myself. You see, in the year of 1973, I was of the age of 8. I was sodomized. It was in that moment and in that time that fear was introduced to me. In that moment, I embraced it like it was my best friend. When I decided at the age of 40 that I didn't want to be friends anymore, It became an issue, a very big, major issue. I was so mentally off with fear that I began to lose hope for my life. And we all know how that feels when your mind is playing those tricks on you that you're all alone, that no one understands you, that you're the only one going through this, that you can't really open up to trust anybody, that you're having all these thoughts that you can't control because in your emotion, because that's what it is. It's an emotion and a relationship. In that emotion and in that relationship, you feel hopeless. And fear begins to fill your room, your thoughts, your body, your emotion, everything. And then you realize how unimportant you are. I could help others, but my friends, they were very actively engaged in my life and all my affairs. You know, we can speak to fear, but if there's no courage, there's no disintegrating of fear. I faced my fear, so I thought. I said, I'm not going to let you stop me. And it just laughed and said, I'll let you climb the ladder, but you're going to fall because you're going to get afraid and you're not going to have courage. I unloaded my fears. 32 years of fears mixed with self-hate became a bigger monster to fight, and it did become a mental health issue. Understanding mental health is a very serious matter. There are a lot of people walking around with it who refuse to acknowledge and accept it. I was one. I am mental health. You see, my brain was activated with self-hate at a very early age. That came with many, many, many issues, many attachments, many things I didn't even know about because most of the things that we do are an unconscious act. Negative thoughts. It came with reminders, along with nightmares and distrust and so many other things that are attached to our emotions. All these friends of mine, they were fully active in everything I did. Fear, self-hate, became best friends. Feeling ashamed, and yes, I was ashamed for opening up at the age of 40. I decided to stay in tune with fear and hate. 32 years of fear. Regardless of everything else going on around me. What I received out of that experience of opening up to people who really didn't have my best interests at heart, and that was okay because I gained a seed of courage. It took a lot of courage for me to talk to someone that I really, I didn't really know. I didn't pick up on the senses of an untrust, you know what I mean? It was something we collaborated with. And so you think that when you have that energy and excitement from people, you have to be careful because not everybody has your best interests at heart. And that's the sad part because we're humans. And as a human being, it is our responsibility and ability to uplift one another because we're all going through some type of struggle. Some are big, some are small, but it's still a struggle. And we each need that motivation and encouragement to have a great day every day. It's a life. Breath is gift, and gift is life, and it's important and needed. I received the seed of courage. I watered it with hope and strengthened it with faith daily. That's the key. Courage comes from us, from within. We're born with it. We just don't know it because of the traumas and the experiences and the things that have taken place in our emotions and in our relationships. I was attending a heart group. It's called HEART. And HEART stands for Healing Emotional and Relational Trauma. And we're really endowed with a lot of emotional and relational trauma that we need to heal from. And there's some things that I want to make sure I get cleared on, but I want to share those things with you because it helped me get through the process. It helped me understand what was missing in my life. Fast forward years later, the courage is continuing to grow. And I know it to be so because this podcast, so cast it. That's what I'm doing. I'm casting it. And I really hope that I get the attention of those who are hurting more than anything. And if I get the attention of them, I also want to get the attention of those who aren't so hurting, who think that maybe, just maybe, mental health isn't a real thing. It's a real thing. And since we're in the month of May, which is also Mental Health Awareness Month, I didn't know that. I just learned that. I'm casting this 32 years of fear, the Kryptonite to courage, to you all to introduce myself to you. Today is a very special day. It is my sister's birthday. She would have turned 60 today. My sister didn't make it to see 50. And so it's a very special day. And I thought, why not launch my first podcast on her birthday? So I want to give a shout out to my sister in heaven, wherever she may be. And I hope she's proud of me. I hope that, she is helping me through this process as well. I believe she is because, when I look at everything that I've gone through and studied and helped myself with to try to grow and get this mind back on track, it wasn't easy, y'all. It was very difficult. But the things that came into my pathway were very helpful to help me understand what was really going on in my mind. And I had to allow my ego to have a back seat because now it was important for me to deal with these issues, because if I don't, those issues will deal with me, and I can't have that. I'm into the cycle. I'm into breaking the cycles. I know who I am. I know where I'm going, and I know where I came from. 32 years of fear has been met with courage of a mustard seed of faith. I love who I have become, and I know I am an agent of transformation and change. I want to thank you for listening. The next podcast will be on June 13th, 2024, 7 p.m. That is a Thursday. The topic, take responsibility. We will have a special guest. This will be the second episode on So Casted with Tara, a.k.a. T-Love13. I'm super excited to bring this podcast to you. I have so much more to talk to you about. The next thing that I will be talking to you about in my personal is a kept promise. So you want to stick around for both, the kept promise and take responsibility. June 13th, I will have a special guest by the name of Dead Space Dash. He will be interviewed by me. I will have 3 questions for him to answer, and it's going to be very interesting. So again, thank you so much for listening, and please check out the website. Go online, and I'll post some information in regards to how you can get through and see everything that you need. This is the first episode, so you guys bear with me. I'm still learning a whole lot of things. But at the end of the day, I'm excited. Why? Because this podcast is about you. It's about me sharing me, but sharing it with you, because if I can make it, you can make it. And I consider myself an agent of transformation and change, kind of like a 007 type thing. But I'm super excited because mental healing is important. Laughter is important. But most importantly, we need to make sure that the top of our crown is well taken care of and put back in place. Some of us have a lot of trauma that we need to heal from, and that's okay. You're still as precious as you can be, even in the situation you're in right now. Just know you're uniquely made. You're human. That is the highest form of honor on this earth. Again, Thank you for joining me on the podcast So Casted with Tara, aka T Love 13. I am your host, T Love 13. Until June 13th, take care of yourself and your mind.